I woke up to the beep of machines and the smell of antiseptic, tubes in my arms, my throat raw from the ventilator. The nurse smiled down at me and said, "Welcome back. You were gone for 12 days. 12 days in a coma." I tried to smile until I grabbed my phone from the side table. The bank app notification hit me like a second heart attack. Balance, $47.82. I had gone in with over $1.2 million. My life savings, my future, and every single cent was gone. My own family had spent it while I was fighting to stay alive. This is the story of how the people who were supposed to love me turned my hospital bed into their personal ATM, and how I woke up and made sure they lost everything they thought they'd stolen. My name isn't important. What matters is that I was always the reliable one, the oldest daughter who never complained. Mom and Dad had 3 of us, me, my brother Jake, and my little sister Mia. Jake was the golden boy, star athlete, charm for days. Mia was the princess, pretty, popular, always needed help. Me? I was the one who worked 2 jobs through college, paid my own tuition, and still sent money home every month so Mom could keep her part-time job and Dad could rest his back. When I landed a remote tech job at 24 and started climbing, I thought finally I could breathe. I bought my parents the 4-bedroom house they always dreamed of, put it in my name for tax reasons, but told them it was ours. I funded Mia's wedding when her deadbeat fiancé bailed. I co-signed Jake's first business loan when his big idea needed cash. They called me every Sunday. "You're such a blessing," Mom would say. Dad would slap me on the back. "Couldn't do it without you, kid." I believed them. Last year I was driving home from visiting Grandpa, the only person who ever really saw me, when a drunk driver T-boned my car. I don't remember the crash, just waking up once in the ER, signing a temporary power of attorney so someone could handle my bills while I was in surgery. I gave it to Mom. She cried, hugged me, promised she'd take care of everything. Then I slipped into the coma, sepsis from internal injuries. Doctors gave me a 30% chance. While I was unconscious, my family held an emergency meeting at my house, the one I bought them. Mom used the power of attorney to empty my checking, savings, even my 401k hardship withdrawal. They told the bank I was incapacitated and needed the money for medical bills. Medical bills? They booked a 10-day all-inclusive in Cabo, posted pictures with hashtags Family First and Healing Together. Jake bought a new truck for his failing business. Mia used $30,000 to refresh her wardrobe because stress makes her break out. They even threw a welcome home party for themselves in my living room while I was still on life support. I know all this because my best friend, a nurse at the hospital, overheard Mom on the phone in the cafeteria. "She's probably not going to make it. We need to move fast on the house paperwork." They were planning to forge my signature and transfer the deed while I was still breathing through a tube. When I finally woke up, Mom was the first face I saw. She was holding flowers she'd clearly grabbed from the hospital gift shop. "Oh, honey, we prayed so hard," I asked for my phone. She hesitated. That's when I saw the balance. I didn't scream. I just stared at her and said, "Where's my money?" Her smile froze. "We had to use it, sweetie. Medical bills were insane, and Jake needed—" I cut her off. "Cabo was medical?" She tried gaslighting. "You were out of it. You don't remember the conversations we had." Dad and Jake showed up an hour later with the same script. Mia even brought her kids so I'd feel guilty. but I had something they didn't know about. 2 years earlier, paranoid after watching too many true crime docs, I'd installed hidden cameras in the main rooms of the house I owned. And I'd set up a secret secondary account Grandpa helped me open, the one place they never knew existed. While they were still lying to my face, my lawyer, the one Grandpa had on retainer, was already pulling bank records, flight receipts, and every transaction. I spent the next 3 weeks in recovery playing the part of the grateful daughter. I smiled. I thanked them. I let them think I was too weak to fight. Inside, I was building a folder thicker than a phone book. Every dollar spent. The forged medical expense claims, screenshots of their Cabo posts while I was coded twice, the fake deed transfer paperwork they'd already filed with a shady notary, Grandpa's will, which he updated 6 months before he passed and never told them about, left me his old lake cabin outright. It was paid off, worth almost $400,000, and in a trust they couldn't touch. That cabin became my war room. I moved there quietly while still pretending to be bedridden at their house. I hired a private investigator. I got body cam footage of Mom admitting on camera, well, she owed us after everything we did for her growing up. The best part? My temporary power of attorney had expired the day I woke up. Legally, every transaction after that was fraud. I waited until the perfect moment, Mia's gender reveal party for her second baby. The whole extended family was there. Balloons, blue confetti cannons, Mom crying happy tears in the backyard of the house I still legally owned. I walked in wearing the same hoodie I'd worn in the ICU. No makeup, still 20 pounds underweight. The room went quiet. Mom rushed over. "Sweetie, you should be resting." I smiled for the first time in weeks. "I'm good. Actually, I brought a present." I handed Dad an envelope. Inside, a 30-day eviction notice for everyone in the house. Certified, legal. Then I played the video on the projector they'd rented for the gender reveal. 10 minutes of their own words. Mom laughing on the phone about how they'd finally get what's ours. Jake bragging about the truck. Mia saying, "She's always been dramatic. This is probably just attention-seeking." The confetti cannon went off awkwardly in the silence. Blue pieces rained down like evidence. Dad turned purple. Jake tried to lunge at the laptop. I just stepped back and said, "The police are outside. They'd like to talk about the fraud charges." Within 48 hours, the house was locked down. Their stuff was on the lawn by court order. Jake's business loan defaulted because I called it in. I was the co-signer. Mia's husband found out she'd spent their savings on family emergencies that never existed. He filed for divorce the same week. Mom and Dad lost their social circle when the group chat exploded with the video. I sold the house for $875,000 cash, kept the lake cabin, paid off my medical debt with what was left of their vacation fund refunds. The bank clawed back. 6 months later, I'm sitting on the dock at the cabin Grandpa left me. The same cabin where he once told me, "Blood doesn't make family, kid. Loyalty does." I started a small scholarship fund for kids who have to pay their own way through college, the ones who get called reliable instead of loved. My phone still lights up sometimes. Mom's texts, "We're family. You can't do this to us." I don't answer anymore, because here's what I learned the hard way. The people who drain you while you're fighting for your life aren't family. They're just people who shared your last name. And sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't screaming or fighting back in the moment. It's surviving, it's thriving, and it's making sure they never get to do it to anyone else. If you've ever been the reliable one who got stabbed in the back, you're not alone. Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this hit you in the chest, hit subscribe. There are more stories where this came from, and the next one might be even darker. Thanks for listening. Stay strong out there.